Good morning to one and all. It is my pleasure and honor to be part in this third Asian Virtual Conference on Interdisciplinary Research 2023. I am Ms. Jel Feliz Dating from Batangas State University, Batangas City, Philippines. And I'm also affiliated with the Department of Education as Teacher 2. Together with me in this research is Ms. Regina Crisel S. Delute, Assistant Professor in Batangas State University, Batangas City, Philippines. Batangas State University is now the first national engineering university, which is located at Rizal Avenue, Batangas City, Philippines. Its mesmerizing facilities really amaze everyone who sees it, but it offers more than what our eyes can see. It develops globally competitive graduates of the 21st century. And today, I humbly present before you our study which answered, does setting the speech condition for performance tasks improve student performance? The K-12 curriculum, otherwise known as Republic Act 10533 or Enhanced Basic Education of the Philippines, brought changes in the curriculum, including in the grading system. Students are now graded through their written works, performance tasks, and quarterly assessment. Performance tasks in any category, whether core, applied, or specialized, measure 40 to 60%. Hence, students must excel in the performance tasks to gain a favorable grade at the end of each quarter. Relative to speech performance tasks, Bianca Rosa and Shanley connect fluency with automaticity, efficiency, and procedural skill. Thus, speakers are fluent if they speak spontaneously, easily, and confidently, regardless of whether they pronounce the words crisply or not. Meanwhile, Thornbury coined the phrase speech condition in performance tasks, as he believes that in doing presentations or making products, the teachers shall set certain factors to condition students and provide them with a conducive learning. He also discussed that the degree of fluency of a speaker depends on the condition, which includes cognitive, affective, and performance factors. He also enumerated the criteria for selecting performance tasks and highlighted the importance of these criteria in a specific lesson. However, as English teachers, the researchers observed that most of the students do not exhibit excellent performance in the tasks given. We teachers are oftentimes disappointed with the quality of student performance when they do not meet their expected standards and the learning competencies. Sometimes, or most of the time, we regard this issue as a result of the students' incompetence because learners could not exhibit fluency in all macro skills of communication. Yet, there may be different barriers in setting the speech conditions that students experience. It may be due to different categories that the teachers are selecting in performance tasks, or it may also include some constraints such as finance, class size, and facilities, among others. This study aimed to determine the speech conditions in senior high school English classes in a congressional district of Batangas to employ a more effective performance tasks. Specifically, this sought to ascertain the degree of evidence of the existing performance tasks relative to the following categories: interactivity, productivity, challenge, safety, purposefulness, and authenticity. It also determined the level of effectiveness of the measures the teachers set the speech condition relative to the following criteria such as cognitive, affective, and performance. It also found out the correlation between the degree of evidence between the two measures, and it discussed the common barriers in setting appropriate speech conditions. At the end of this study, the researchers proposed activities to effectively set the speech condition of senior high school students. This study used descriptive correlational research design to assess the objectives presented. It does not explore about the causes of the problem. Instead, identify the categories and ways the teachers employ in their classes. 57 English teachers in a congressional district of the Schools Division of Batangas during the school year 2019-2020 were utilized. English classes in senior high school include oral communication, reading and writing, English for academic and professional purposes, creative writing, creative nonfiction, practical research 1 and 2, and inquiries, investigation, and immersion. No sampling was used, hence it utilized all 57 senior high school English teachers in the population as the subjects of the study. Meanwhile, a researcher-made questionnaire for such purposes was the main data gathering instrument to determine the manner of setting the speech conditions in the senior high school English classes. 100% retrieval of the instrument was also ensured at the end of the data collection process. After the scrutinous validation and data collection, data were treated using Pearson's R, weighted mean, and composite mean. The 4-point scale below was used to determine the value of each answer in the research objectives. And the data gathered were analyzed and given a corresponding interpretation. Presented next are the interpretation of the results together with its corresponding composite means. The composite mean indicates that teachers manifested high evidence that the performance tasks they assign the students are interactive. Most English teachers use audio visuals and video in their performance tasks, and it supports Kelly's concept that visual aids help illustrate their ideas. Based on the composite mean of the second table, teachers claimed that the performance tasks that they assign the students are productive. It means they require productivity to ensure practicality and that learners utilize higher order thinking skills. Teachers moderately set the maximum time for each presentation. Although it obtained a relatively high composite mean, which is interpreted as moderately evident, it had the lowest composite mean among all the categories of the performance tasks. Based on the third table, imposing challenges in classroom speaking activities is evidently practiced by the respondents. Challenge does not necessarily mean the tasks are difficult for students to accomplish, but require enough effort for them to finish them. It may entail individual effort, but collaboration and assistance may be encouraged. The composite mean in Table 4 indicates that teachers stated that they ponder the safety of students when assigning tasks. It is revealed in the results that through the tasks given by the teachers, students develop trust between themselves and the teacher. Conforming to the idea that the teacher should set up a nurturing classroom environment of trust, respect, and even protection, teachers ensure that students are safe by giving generous words to them, which later builds rapport between them. Based on the results on the composite mean of Table 5, teachers acknowledge the importance of establishing it among the students, as it sets their motivation either intrinsically or extrinsically. To achieve purposefulness, the importance of the performance tasks is explained to the students. Teachers believe that explaining the context of authenticity also triggers the students, as it frames the design of tasks within the real-world situations in which the skills will be applied. This is usually done when introducing the task to the student and before allowing them to proceed to their groups. For Table 6, generally, the differences among the results in the table below are too minimal. It therefore manifests that the performance tasks given by the respondents are undoubtedly authentic. This is a good indicator as it implies that students are being prepared to battle in the outside world. It can be gleaned that respondents give tasks that resemble real-life situations. To the results in the second objective, generally cognitive criteria are considered by the respondents in setting the speech condition of the students, as perceived by the composite mean. By developing cognitive skills, teachers help students' brains complete the process more quickly and efficiently, and ensure that they understand and effectively process the new information. In a group setting, cognitive aspects help people interpret data, remember team goals, pay attention during an important meeting, and more. The affective domain involves feelings, emotions, and attitudes. This domain includes the manner in which people deal with things emotionally, such as feelings, values, appreciation, enthusiasms, motivations, and attitudes. Table 8 shows how teachers set the speech condition of students relative to the affective criterion. Realistic goals are set to motivate and encourage the student to establish their own reasonable goals. They appreciate it more when their voices are included in the expectations and goals. And setting and tracking goals help students learn important life skills such as planning, organization, and time management, which also building communication skills, self-awareness, and confidence. Given the means above, ranges between the means are also small, and the composite mean implies that the teachers consider this aspect to a great extent. The composite mean in Table 9 also implies that teachers strongly agreed with the activities in motivating the students to boost their performance. The weighted mean of the indicators also had minimal difference, which shows that they understand their interrelatedness. As shown in the table, all computed p-values are 0, which is less than the level of significance equal to 0.05. These were obtained from the computed R values, which range from 0.524 to 0.784. All the R values denote strong positive relationship, hence the null hypothesis were rejected. This means that there are significant relationships between the assessments of performance tasks and speech conditions relative to cognitive criteria. With regards to affective criteria, null hypotheses were also rejected. This means that there are significant relationships between the assessments of performance tasks and speech conditions. As reflected in the table, all computed p-values are 0, which is less than the level of significance equal to 0.05. The computed R values range from 0.598 to 0.811, which denotes strong positive relationship. This means that there are significant relationships between the assessments of performance tasks and speech conditions relative to affective criteria. The assessments on performance tasks and speech conditions relative to performance criteria manifest significant relationships as well. This is evident from all computed p-values equal to 0, which are less than the level of significance equal to 0.05. The computed R values range from 0.566 to 0.808, which denotes strong positive relationship. Hence, the null hypotheses were rejected. This means that there are significant relationships between the assessments of performance tasks and speech conditions relative to performance criteria. As shown in the composite mean in Table 13, results demonstrate that the barriers encountered by the respondents had a slight effect on the speech condition of the students before their performance tasks. Hence, teachers are aware of how they can overcome these challenges, which are both inherent and extrinsic. They believe that they cannot control the flourishing of problems, but they can provide a number of solutions to cope with them. So which criterion and category guided the researcher in the development of the output? Results reveal that there is a significant relationship between the assessment of performance tasks given by teachers and in setting the speech condition. Thus, the researchers strongly highlight that teachers should effectively set the speech condition through these prepared sets of activities. This packet of suggested activities include a description of tasks, the time allotted, the type of tasks, the resources needed, and instructions. It is divided into 3 parts and was designed to strengthen the student's speech. Based on the results of the present study, teachers need to strengthen productivity among the categories of performance tasks. that were highlighted in the first part. In the second part of the packet, the effective criteria of the learners are focused on through suggested tasks. Ways to overcome the barriers to effectively setting the speech condition are also presented in this output on its third part. The output may be validated by experts in the field and may be used by the teachers once the suggestions and feedback have been incorporated. And based on the foregoing findings, the following conclusions were drawn. First, the degree of evidence of performance tasks was highly evident. Audiovisual and collaborative learning are highly considered by the respondents as they also required time and language in the presentation. Higher order thinking skills were utilized in the tasks while establishing the physical and emotional safety of the students. Second, the setting of the speech condition is highly effective as the tasks and topics were discussed properly to the students before providing them enough time to prepare. Realistic goals were set by both the teachers and students to motivate them in accomplishing the tasks. Meanwhile, the rubrics were highly employed by the respondents. Third, all paired variables in the assessments were found with very significant correlation. Fourth, performance tasks were greatly affected by institutional problems, which included the prescribed ratio of students to resources, such as learning materials and facilities. Lack of routine activities also affected the effective performance of the students' tasks. And lastly, the proposed activities to effectively set the students' speech conditions contain preliminary activities to help the teachers establish a more successful performance tasks. And on the light of the foregoing conclusions, the following recommendations are suggested with humility and cordiality. The activities developed by the researchers may be reviewed and tested for its reliability, specifically for acceptability, usability, relevance, and appropriateness. Furthermore, trainings about effective teaching pedagogies focusing on performance tasks shall be conducted. Here are the references of the study. I would like to dedicate this presentation to my advisor, Ms. Dalute, for always supporting me and encouraging me to be the best that I can. Also, I give this to the people who made it possible to finish, especially during the times I thought I couldn't make it. This one is for you. And thank you, AVCIR, for this wonderful opportunity. Mabuhay and God bless us all.